but there was a van coming down the same time he was going up. And all I could think is, oh my God, he's gonna hit him. He's gonna hit him. He's gonna hit him. But when I say like narrowly pass by, like narrowly, and still managed to not hit that van, I'm like, ain't no way.
Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform and up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire.
Y'all, hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is where you are. Welcome back to my channel, y'all. I'm Sasha. If you are new, if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, my Loyal Royals. So good to see you. If you are new to the fam, welcome to the family, my new Loyal Royals. So good to finally meet you. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to another video. And we are coming close to the end of my Korea series video, but I've already put out a video about things that I absolutely loved about Korea. There is still one more on that set, but for this one, I'm actually going to give a little bit of my perspective as an American for culture shock that I got while in Korea. Now, keep in mind, these sort of little culture shock bits, they may not seem like culture shock to someone who either A, lives in Korea, B, has been to Korea over 1,000 times, C, someone whose experience was completely different from mine, or D, someone that just didn't care about it. But these are from my experience based on the month that I spent in Korea. So again, just keep that in mind, okay? So with all that said, let's get into this list. It's only going to be about 5 of them, even though there were probably more, but these are 5 I can think of off the top of my head. All right, here we go. So the first one, no one has a sense of direction. I know it sounds so ridiculous, but I tell the truth. Nobody has a sense of direction. When people are walking around, and I'm not saying this to be offensive either, when people are walking around, everyone seems to just walk every which way. And it almost seems like no matter what you do to avoid them, because they're looking down at their phones the entire time, someone's bound to either almost walk into you or walk into you. But even if they did, there is no sorry or anything. It's just like a confused look and like, what? You're the one that walked into me. But it's so crazy because there is such a lack of sense for like your surroundings, because everyone's got, like I said, their nose stuck in their phones as they're walking around, or they're just not paying attention, or they're just in such a rush that there's no sense of direction. There's no sense of like alertness around them. And that's something that's kind of shocking to me in a sense, because here in the States, even though people have their noses in their phones when they're walking around, people are constantly looking up and around to make sure they don't walk into anything or anyone, for the most part, at least where I live. And that's almost something I can say is kind of annoying, because it's like you're looking down at your phone. What happens if you're looking down at your phone and you almost walk straight into traffic? Granted, there are lights on the ground to tell people when to and when not to walk, because they are looking down so much, which I actually think is kind of neat. But at the same time, that lack of sense of situational awareness and sense of direction, that's just something that like really irks me as like something that you don't see every day. But again, that works for them because just about pretty much everyone does it there, and they somehow still make it work. So yeah, lack of situational awareness, lack of direction. That's like the biggest thing for me right now for culture shock. Moving on. Driving inches apart, or should I say nauseating driving as well. So I did not drive while I was in Korea, but something I heavily noticed, and it only happened maybe once or twice where I didn't feel sick, but when I got a ride in a taxi, every few seconds the driver would kind of pump the brakes. So you're going like this, And after a while, that becomes so nauseating because like your stomach is trying to figure out, what are you doing? And I'm just like, OMG. And then some points where I get out of the taxi and I'm just like, okay, I just gotta stand here for a second because I'm just feeling so sick. And I know I'm not the only one that felt that way because there were several posts I had looked at on Reddit, and the post said the same thing about the taxi drivers where people were feeling so nauseated that they just weren't used to that type of driving. But I don't know if that goes the same for Korean people that take the taxis endlessly. Do you feel the same way? I'm not sure. But yeah, it's very nauseating how the constant stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Or should I say pump the brakes, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. Like, what? Why? Why are we doing this so much? But there's that. And something that kind of really freaks me out. This is seen somewhat in New York a little bit, but not as much still, is the driving super duper duper like into the park. So when I got a ride from the Airbnb back to the airport, my driver had to go up this extremely narrow road, but there was a van coming down the same time he was going up. And all I could think is, oh my God, he's gonna hit him. He's gonna hit him. He's gonna hit him. But when I say like narrowly pass by, like narrowly, and still managed to not hit that van, I'm like, ain't no way. And then I remember seeing it again on several other occasions while I was walking around. They would turn corners or go up hills. Not to mention, they're super, 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 super steep hills. And I'm like, I thought San Francisco was bad when it comes to steep hills. Nah, Korea got California beat. But yeah, that super, super tight turn got me thinking that they gonna hit each other. But they still skate by. And then keep on going like nothing ever happened. But yeah, that's the driving, the nauseating driving, and the super duper tight turning on super narrow roads. That is something that I do not see where I live at. So, but yeah. Moving on. Lack of trash cans. So this one, I think that there's a historical aspect behind it. At least I know in Japan it is. But lack of trash cans. I swear to goodness, the entire time I was walking around, I only saw one trash can, and that was in, I think, Dongdaemun, when I was waiting for a bus for a tour. There was only one trash can I saw. Other than that, there's just big piles of trash sitting everywhere in the separated trash bags. And I just find that shocking because compared to where I live in the States, when you're walking around outside, there's a trash can literally everywhere. So if you need to throw your trash away or recycle something, the trash cans are right there. But walking around outside around in Korea, there was like one trash can that I saw of all the areas I went to. And then of course, when I went to Busan, I saw a trash can that it was like near the pier, I think it was near the pier. So that was like the only trash can I saw. But other than that, there's like no trash cans anywhere. As I said, I think there's a historical aspect behind that. If you know, please let me know down in the comments. But I found that crazy that there's no trash cans. There's just big piles of bags of trash sitting around everywhere. But yet, for the most part, Korea still stays very clean, which is interesting, so to speak. This next one, I kind of figured this as when I was doing research. I had heard about it, but I was still kind of like shocked at the same time. But limitations of certain global items. When I say limitations, I mean legitimate limited items. Like, they do have a lot of globalized items like candies and stuff like that. But I mean, like, as far as sanitation products, like sanitary and hygienic products, like deodorant. It wasn't until someone told me that Koreans don't have the same genes that Westerners have when it comes to needing deodorant, which means they don't need it. They don't need it. So they don't sell it as much as we do here in the States because our genes are different. But when I went to really look in stores, it kind of came off as like, wow, this is the reality. They really don't have this stuff. But I had already looked that up and done myself the favor of taking more than enough for the time frame I would be there. And as far as their products too, is the whole idea of skin, I guess like skin lightening. That when I took my own lotions and things because I am caramel and I wish to stay that way. I am not a fan of the whole skin lightening, skin whitening kind of thing. I'm not a fan of that. Granted, to each their own, that's their whole thing over there. But as far as like global products go, like I said, they do have some, and it comes down to it. If you really, really, really gotta find something, you're gonna have to seriously look. Most areas that are extremely foreigner friendly have some, if not like a decent amount, but it's still better to just bring your own items from wherever you're from, just to make sure you have everything you need. But yes, the limitation of certain global items, I find that kind of like shocking. Again, I was told about it ahead of time, but it's still like when you get there and reality sets in, you're like, dang, I'm glad I brought everything I needed. But yeah, so. And finally on this list, this one, yeah. Overwhelming stores that have luxury items. Something I learned about Korea prior to going is that Koreans are like in the very, very, very top for people that love their luxury brands. I am a simple kind of girl. I like to shop at thrift stores. I like to buy bargain things and still look good at the same time. As far as luxury, I don't care for it. I really don't. I know it sounds stupid, but I don't care for luxury like that. I do have maybe 1 or 2 items that are considered luxury, but I'm not the type where I go around buying $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 bags or $10,000 shoes or $5,000 pieces of clothing. Yeah, I can't bring myself to do that. And I just got kind of overwhelmed by there being an entire district of nothing but luxury. Even walking into certain malls, I think Lotte Mall, there's an entire floor or 2 or 3 of nothing but luxury brands. And when you walk past the stores, who's standing there but security outside monitoring each and every person that goes in? I would look through the window, that's all you're gonna get out of me. I have no interest in luxury brands, but I found that kind of overwhelming at how many stores there are of not only the same luxury brand, but brands I've never even heard of, let alone knew existed. But yeah, so that is pretty much it for my list of things that were a culture shock to me as an American girl. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this list. What are some things for you? Let me know down in the comments. What are some things that came off as a culture shock to you when you went to South Korea? Or things that you've heard about from others that were culture shocks to them. Was anything from my list a culture shock to you? Please do let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, as I would highly appreciate it. As well as go follow me over on Twitter on DragonPink07. If you enjoy aviation and travel, please do consider subscribing to my channel, as I would highly appreciate it. It's free for you and free for me. With all that said, I will see you all in the next video. Bye!
Never say for I will fall into the